I'm Chris P, and a couple years ago I decided to get together with some artist friends and record our conversations while we draw and maybe have a couple drinks or two. It's probably not funny, the audio quality's not so great, we broke the 180 rule and had to flip the master shot, but if you like listening to artists talk about drawing and shit that happened to them, then maybe this is for you. It's called The Tongue and Pencil. Alright, well, here we are.
Here we are.
Doing this tongue and pencil thing. It's I like to call it an experiment.
Okay.
Maybe it'll be a podcast or whatever. Who knows what this is going to be. But I just want to interview artists that I admire.
All right,
And, you know, we're here with Lawrence Hubbard, and he's the creator of Real Deal. And I'm not sure which camera I'm looking at.
Which way we going?
JJ's there in the background. And, you know, we're going to start drawing and bullshit.
Okay,
So,
okay, that'll work.
So I like to start off with asking, like, oh, Julian's got some ice. You want ice in your drink?
Okay,
There
I'll
you
put
go.
some of this tequila here. Yeah,
that's how
that'll work.
it works around here.
Everything is peaceful and just laid back and whatnot.
So
All right.
I like to start off these things by asking, like where are you from?
From right here in LA.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
That's it.
And how was that?
How was that? It was pretty intense. Depends on where you were. I was born. It was called the mid-city area of LA, and it was kind of interesting. A lot of the gangbangers in the '70s started coming up around there. The Crips, Brims, Ace Dude, Pyru, and a lot of names have changed since nowadays call it Bloods and Crips, but these have different names, and it was interesting. You know, just all kind of crazy motherfuckers just popping up out of nowhere. I remember this one guy called Crip Johnny when I was in junior high, and he used to whoop one of my friend's ass, a guy named Tatum. And just you see these guys on the bus or on the street, and they were crazy. That's what it was, just kind of real deal crazy. But like they just they fucking do anything, and that kind of admired that in a way. Sometimes like. People in and out of jail, all this shit and stuff, and it's like, wow, you know, fuck, I'm scared of that shit, but they do it and stuff.
Is that very different than how it is now in those neighborhoods?
Kind of, it's a trip. It's kind of like it's just been going on and on like that. They just, some of them has gotten easier, but, and it's funny, you see the same guys who were doing all that crazy shit in the past, they're the OGs now.
Yeah.
But, it's funny. It's like a lot of it just keeps going on and on. It's just really a trip and stuff.
Now I've heard a term that I believe you guys coined called urban terror.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
what
real
you're
deal.
referring to?
Yeah, just urban terror comics. That's what we call real deal.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
urban terror. Just
Yeah.
there's the thing: more rage per page, more slaughter for the dollar.
Okay.
And it's just like I said, just maniacs just doing what the fuck they want, and no remorse and no nothing, you know. And it's just what we picked up on, and like I say, nobody else was doing it. You know, we're doing something where everybody else was trying to do some type of superhero or some lame bullshit that, you know, was cutesy and stuff, but it was nothing like what we were doing.
Yeah.
And it's funny that, like I say, you're trying to hook up with, you know, big name people and stuff, and like they're scared to touch it. You know, they didn't want to touch it, but at the same time, a lot of them did admire it and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, but yeah, with Real Deal, it's funny. We just always just stuck with it, what we were doing. It was never anything about we're going to change it, and because, you know, we always had fans and people who loved it and stuff.
Yeah. So to take a step back before Real Deal stuff, when you were growing up, like, what influenced you to become an artist?
Oh boy, going way back, it'd be like on what do you call it? Wonderful World of Color with Disney, cartoons, old cartoons. I used to, when I was real little, it was funny. I thought the cartoons were real. I actually thought they were real people and stuff. And I remember one time in the '60s, I was watching a thing on Wonderful World of Color, and they showed all the old time animators, you know, Ollie Johnson and just a lot of OG guys, and they were drawing, and I'm like, oh shit, that's how they do it. And they showed them at their boards and stuff. And I said, man, I love this, you know, I want to do this and stuff. And then I started drawing, you know, and I remember at first I started drawing, I would draw like bus crashes and people flying out of windows and stuff like that. And at the time they had, what do you call it, the Black Panther papers were out. Yeah. And every now and then my father would buy one just for the hell of it. And I would look and they had all these cartoons with the people, brothers fighting the pigs, and the police were like real pigs and stuff. And they were fighting them, and I was like, I said, oh, fuck, I love this shit. And I started drawing that and stuff, and my bus crashes, and I just would, you know, draw kind of stuff, and I'd see stuff in magazines, and I love trains, and I started drawing on perspective and everything, and just everything was just self-taught, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So you never had any formal training? You were entirely self-taught?
Yeah, well, I took classes, you know, when I was in high school. There was some art classes I took, and I've taken a few classes at community college, but never like any, like I was in some degree program or anything. Like, you know, I might go Otis Art Institute, I take a perspective class there, and you know, he draws like stairs on perspective, everything perfect. So took some classes at Santa Monica College and stuff, but never like got a degree or anything like that. Everything was pretty much, you know, just all on my own and everything.
Gotcha. Like, did you read a lot of like Mad Magazine or those kind of?
Oh yeah, I love Mad Magazine. That's one of since the early '70s. I started reading Mad. I love the like Mort Drucker and Angelo Torres and the guys who all like, you know, doing the TV and the movie satires and stuff.
Yeah.
And I always thought those were funny, and that, you know, the way they could draw the, you know, the real people, the real characters, and, you know, characterize it, but it looked like them.
Yeah.
And then George Woodbridge and what's his name, David Berg, and all those guys I used to love in Mad Magazine. And then I loved, yeah, Marvel Comics. I'd look at DC and what was that, creepy, eerie stuff like from Charleston Comics. Yeah, I liked all that stuff too. So that was a trip.
The one of the things that I got as a kid, just like never stopped looking at, never stopped trying, was that How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way.
Oh yeah, I have that book. Yeah. I got that book. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can tell like in some of your action poses and stuff, it's like, you know, they would have like, you know, like weak. Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
And it was like,
fell in love with that
book. It was
book.
The really badass stuff.
Yeah,
the Marvel stuff.
I love that book. That book was insane. Yeah, I still got it. I was just looking at it the other day.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is, like, you know, we got all this shit now with the computers and everything. And if you look at that book there, it just shows you just the OG shit. Got a T-square, you know, compass, triangle, some pencils, like
It's
fuck.
true.
Yeah,
there was no computer in that.
Nah.
Supplies at all.
Nah.
That existed in any way.
Yeah, you sit down, you're gonna draw. You do it. You draw. You know, it's like that. No bullshit and stuff.
So speaking of that, do you have like do you use computers? Do you have a specific technique or an approach to drawing that you like?
You know, I have, you know, done some stuff with computers in the past, but I just like kick it the, you know, the old school way. I draw with, you know, on a drawing board. Use, you know, the number 2, number 3 pencil, the H, and this, that, and the other. Yeah. You know, the T-square and my French curves and stuff, and look like that. That feels best to me. You know, some other stuff I've, you know, looked up, you know, watched JJ work on the Cintiq and all that. Yeah. But it's like, look like if I'm going to do a book, like it has to be this way, you know, just. Yeah. And like, you know, my fans, you know, I was at this one symposium, the thing we did at the what do you call it, the place on Fairfax, the Center Family.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. The fans were there, and like I was saying, well, hey, you guys want me to, you know, like color this? Hey, no. Hey, do you want me to do? No, we like it the way you do it. That was like fucking hardcore. I said, well, do you want me to, you know, use the computer to do the lettering? And said, no, we like it the way you draw the letters. Like, oh, okay, all right, you know, shit, you know, that's what fans want.
Yeah, I found that too. I've even found that with other artists that I've worked with, like people I really like, and they like have a style that they've done in the past, and then they try to like, well, I need to update it.
Yeah.
Style, and then it's like, oh man, I wish you didn't.
Yeah.
Update your style. I remember going to a lecture with Sid Mead, you know, who that is, like a concept artist, draw all these like cool vehicles and spaceships. For,
oh yeah, I've heard the name.
Like, Blade Runner. And,
okay,
like, Tron and Alien and all that stuff, and then it's like check it out, I got a computer. And it's like, then all this stuff looked like all these like Photoshop gradients and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
No, we want to see you like when you paint with like wash paint and stuff like that. It looks so much better to me.
They want to see you on the page.
He went back though, because I saw an art show of his, and I was like, man, that guy can still paint like a mother.
Hell yeah.
It's beautiful. That guy's, I don't know how old he is, but you know, he's getting up there.
Yeah.
And it did not diminish his skill one bit. I mean, that's a cool thing about being an artist, I think, as opposed to like a, you know, like a football player or something. It's like, you just get better. Yeah,
as you get older.
Better, you know.
Well, it's just funny. It's just like I was thinking about, I was looking, you know, my books on art, and you see like, was it Chester Gould who did the, you know, Dick Tracy, or that Terry and the Pirates and all that stuff. Yeah. And like you say, as years, you know, like you look at the early stuff the guys did in the 30s, and look kind of shitty looking. Yeah. But then they, you know, 10 years later or so, they were kicking ass, and just, you know, just they get better and better and stuff.
It's true.
So that's the thing about art.
It's true. So have you found that you've gotten, you know, you've changed things up, you've learned things as you've...
Yeah, I look at some of my earlier stuff, and I try to get as close to realism as possible. Like I say, my style of art, I draw cartoony faces, but you know, I want the bodies, you know, the fingers, the hands, and all that stuff to look as realistic as possible. Gotcha. And it just shows you, you know, you're picking up the art and you're getting better and better. Because the, you know, like my cars, the buildings, the trees and stuff. And that was like, you know, when I first, you know, started doing Real Deal, and the first two ones I drew cover to cover. And then after that, you know, I said, well, God, I got to hire some guys, you know, I got a full-time job and all this shit. And main thing, I'd have to get, you know, like you run into guys and they could draw kind of good, but then they couldn't do, you know, backgrounds, or they couldn't do cars or buildings or things, you know, it just looked ridiculous. And I said, look, you got to know how to draw all this stuff, you know, right? You know, you can't just draw, you know, one thing and then, you know, because then it was funny, like, say some guy would, like, introduce me, oh, I know this guy draws so good. And I talked to the guy and I said, well, he's not quite what, well, what do you mean? I said, man, look, you don't know this shit. Well, how many books have you published, you know? Yeah. You know, you going to tell me how it's supposed to be done? You know, that's ridiculous and stuff. But, you know, that's why people don't know this stuff, and they, you know, just think they know something when they don't know it and all that. And then you'd run into guys, you know, like, it was funny, I ran into a lot of guys who, like, drew pretty good, but they weren't serious about it. They weren't ready to put the hours in, you know. Yeah. You know, like they wanted to just, you know, fuck around a little bit, and then they just show, oh, look what I drew, and so, oh, that's nice. Well, what about the rest of the story? Remember I gave you a whole story to draw, and it's, oh, well, you know, I had to go kick it over here, and hey, man, you got to put the hours in, you know. You don't put out no books, you know, without, you know, putting the hours in and stuff, so. It's funny, yeah, like I say, some people you run into who are kind of talented, but like I say, they just don't want to, you know, do what needs to be done to get it done and stuff. So that's interesting.
I can dig that. So you're inspired by a certain kind of comics like Mad and certain kind of how to draw comics the Marvel way. Yeah. And then, you know, your neighborhood, you're growing up, you know, that was part of your inspiration. Like you know, Real Deal's been sometimes compared to, like, you know, a parody or a satire of, like, Blaxploitation. Yeah. Is that your intent, or was that just...
Well, it kind of just, it felt like I say, when my man Harold, and we would, like, Real Deal was people, like I say, GC's like a real guy from Oakland. Yeah. That guy used to run up there and party all the time, and, you know, run like, you know, these big coke dealers up there, and pimps, and I forgot the name of the brothers up there. They were the guys who were from the Mac and stuff. There was some brothers up there who were part of that, and they used to run up and party with these guys. And GC was like the real, just kind of I don't give a fuck kind of guy. They knew up there, and he would, you know, he'd pick up a potted plant and scream and throw it through a plate glass window. He would, you know, run the street screaming and holler, get drunk, get high all the time. And this was this is the kind of stuff we would. You know, they were running into it, and I remember, you know, used to hit the discos back in the day, and, you know, see the people. I remember when Disco 9000 was still open. It was a trip. A friend of mine, John and Jimmy, they borrowed their father's Cadillac, and we went up there. Yeah. And so we're sitting down in the parking, was in the basement. This was 9000 Sunset Boulevard. Yeah. And it was like, you know, we're all like, I think only one of us was really old enough to go in there at the time. But it's funny, back then they didn't push that shit so hard like they do now. Yeah.
They weren't as worried about liability.
Yeah, all that shit. Yeah, I remember I went up there, I was like 18, 19, and the bouncers up there, I'm like, fuck, how's this good? And the guy says, gentlemen, welcome to Disco 9000. Just no problem, But anyway, we're sitting in the car in the basement. He was drinking some beer, getting loaded before we go up. There was a brother across from us, and he was in a Rolls Royce, and he had like a mink or chinchilla coat on, looked like somebody out the Mac or something. And he was just doing these lines of coke, like before he went into disco. And he looked at us, and we were staring right across him. He looked at us, we looked at him. He just gave us a black power fist and just kept snorting his coke and stuff. And he knew nobody was going to dime on him or anything, and it was just how it is and shit. It was just really funny, But it was just cool, like how it was at the time, and just everybody out to party and stuff. And we had a hell of a good time that night, and especially like I said, your late teens and you go on somewhere, it's all supposed to be all adults, and it's like fuck buying drinks, and oh man, it was just a blast.
So you really took your inspiration from life more than being like a satire of these things. You didn't have to be exposed to it through the movies and stuff.
Yeah, you just really living it, stuff.
What did you think of that? Of those kind of movies, like a movie like Sweetback?
Oh, I love those movies. Yeah. That was the shit. What I loved about Sweetback was the fact it was done so cheaply. It was like real deal. Like just fuck it. I'm gonna make this movie. I'm gonna make it any goddamn way I can. Yeah. And that's it. I don't care if I don't have a multi-million-dollar budget and all this shit. And and it was just trippy and crazy. And that's what I loved about it and stuff.
Yeah, that movie was so incredible because it was almost like an experimental film.
Yeah, you're right.
And it broke new ground because it was like, oh, this guy is the first guy, to be pictured like this, who's the hero.
Yeah.
And he's a black dude, he's killing cops, he's whatever, Yeah. And all the soundtrack when he's running, never stops running.
Go Sweetback.
And I've seen a lot of other, kind of way down the line, Blaxploitation stuff that were more like doofy, more like parodies almost.
Yeah.
Not meaning to be.
Yeah.
But that one really.
Oh, I love that
really
movie. Good. Several friends of mine, like in the filmmaking and stuff, say, that was a badly made movie. I said, that's the beauty of it. I say, don't give a fuck. It's like this is. Like I said, this is what I get, because that's what real deal is. It's like, you working a fucking job, and you're like, well, how much is it going to cost to print this? And I took a print class at Santa Monica College so I could know, it was such a mystery. Like, so how the fuck do we get from the paper to the book? And so I remember I took a print class and just I said, oh, okay, so this is how this shit works. And then you work in your job, and then you make you put the book. Find okay, how do you put the book together? You just fucking do it, that's just it. Just fucking do it,
So just fucking doing it seems like a good motto for how you've gotten by in
this,
right?
That's it.
It's like a lot of people. It's funny, it's a mentality. I think where you're like, there's people who talk about stuff and there's people who just do stuff.
Yeah.
And you definitely strike me as someone who just does it.
Well, I remember one time we were doing, I don't know if you've ever been to one of these, this guy named Schwartz does these little Comic Cons down at the Shrine.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, yeah. And so we said, before I did the one in San Diego, did a couple down there. And one time me and Harold were sitting up and we had the real deals, people buying and stuff. These young brothers come by and they say, oh man, you guys, publish your own thing. And they're like, yeah, they're talking. And they say, well, where do you get your funding from? Yeah. And we both in unison said, we work. Fuck, you're not giving us no money. We fucking work. We're not sitting around waiting for somebody. We fucking make this thing happen,
I think that is a mistake that people make, is they're waiting for their big break.
Yeah.
And you got to make your own big break.
Yeah.
You just got to do it. So I think that's what I tell artists when they ask for advice. I was like, just do it. Just make stuff, man.
Yeah.
Just make a cartoon. Just make a comic book. Do anything.
Yeah.
The cool thing is you can control that, especially now.
Nowadays, man. Oh, fuck, man.
YouTube and all that stuff. Like, you could have made a web comic.
Oh, shit.
Back then, never learned about printing or anything.
Yeah. All
I'm glad that you did.
Yeah. We got 6 issues, But yeah, that's what I said. I was just gassing. I was like, you know, before if you wanted to make a movie, you'd have to get some fucking 35mm cameras, something, lights and all this shit. Now you just fucking use a phone or something, you know. And it's that. And the same thing with comics, you know. Just like I don't know if you see, I did a little thing with Toon. I used the Toon Boom.
Yeah.
So and I, you know, did a little GC running thing on the web, and it came out cool. And I got a lot of hits on it and stuff. And
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, some shit just, you know, sitting up just fighting with Toon Boom for several weeks until I got it to do, you know, laid my soundtracks in and shit, and you know, just came out.
Yeah.
But man,
did you enjoy that experience?
Yeah, I liked it. I love working with, like I said, with the animation. I'd love to get into the Cintiq thing and stuff. It's just, you know, like I said, you got a full-time job and stuff, and you're just trying to fucking get this shit done.
Have you done a lot of animation? Or is that like one of your first?
You know what? I wanted to be an animator a long time ago, and just at the time, you know, it wasn't like it. Well, yeah, it was funny. I remember when Hanna-Barbera was still on Coenga. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was back in the 80s.
Is that a gym now, or is it apartments or something?
Yeah. And I remember times I'd drive by and you'd bow to it and shit. Yeah. And so I remember one time, I was like, fuck it, let me call out here at my, you know, portfolio, my work. And I called up and this chick answered the phone and she says, yeah, sure, Mr. You know, come out and show your portfolio. I'm like, fuck. So it was Harry Love. I know he was an anime from fucking back in the 20s. Yeah. And this back in the 80s, he's still alive. I remember sitting there with his members only jacket on, and I went there, and I've always been, like, this is before I even got into Real Deal, but I'd always been drawing raw shit, you know, just wild, crazy stuff. Yeah. And so I had all this stuff, and I'm like, damn, how's this old man gonna like this? So he sat up and he went through my portfolio, and it was funny. He was going through and he's looking, and he looked at me and he said, you know, I'm just looking at the art, right? Yeah. I said, yeah, sure. And so then he's looking, he said, hey, you're good? And I went, thank you, sir, blah, blah, blah. And he said, but, you know, he said, we got nothing, you know, we can't offer you nothing now. He said, everything's been done overseas now. This is, you know, in the 80s, they were, Japan was too expensive at that time. They were doing a lot of shit, you know, Korea, Philippines, stuff like that. And he said, but I like to talk to young artists. I was just happy to go out there and meet them and stuff, and I was just amazed to get to have an interview and stuff. But it was cool, but it was just, you know, at that time, that's when everything was outsourced.
That was the era when they started really shipping to Korea, because you're right, it was Japan before that.
Yeah.
And then it ended up, you know, going on to Korea, because you know what happened?
What happened?
Japan would sub it out to Korea.
Oh, they did?
And then, like, eventually the U.S. producers got hip, and they were like, well, man, if we're sending it to you and you're just sending it to Korea, we're just going to send it to these guys in Korea. But I think, you know, the Japanese market really grew that, because they would do a lot of, you know, obviously it's no news that animation is huge in Japan.
Oh, hell yeah, look at all the stuff.
Korean studios would work on a lot of Japanese stuff, which grew that industry.
Yeah.
And when the Japanese shipped the American stuff to Korea, they were already kind of used to doing service work like that. Actually, one of my instructors, right? He worked on all those like Christmas specials and stuff, like the stop motion ones, like Rudolph and the Year Without a Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like that. He was
he's OG.
His boss at the time was like, he had a favorite shirt and he burned a cigarette hole in it. Right?
Okay.
He's like, I'm never gonna be able to find a shirt like this.
Yeah.
And they were so impressed with the Japanese studio. They're like, man, they can make anything. These puppets, we send these designs, they make it beautifully. They're like, why don't you send your shirt over there and see if one of those craftsmen can make you a new shirt? I bet they'll do it perfect, right?
Yeah.
So we did it. Sent it over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, however many weeks later it comes back, he opens it up, it's perfect.
Yeah.
They made him a brand new shirt, perfect, all the way down to they replicated the exact cigarette burn.
Oh shit!
So that's how precise they were.
It was perfect.
Man, I got to tell them that part.
Oh, yeah. Don't skip the cigarette burn and shit.
Yeah. So let's start talking about Real Deal. We kind of touched upon it.
Yeah.
But so how exactly did Real Deal come about?
Well, it was funny. Me and this guy named Harold McElwee, that's Mac, who, when you saw his picture in the book, we were working at this savings and loan, and he worked down in the basement and record storage. So we go down there to drink. You know, as I said, you need to bring a bottle down there and everybody hang out. And so one day he was drawing this crazy shit where it was GC, but in the way he draws,
Yeah.
And GC in Pork Butt were in the caddy, and there's this guy selling oranges on the center divider, and they want to run him over and killing him and run him over the kid. And then Pork Butt says, "Wow, you really fucked him up." And then GC says, "Yeah, and that can be you too, bitch, if you fuck up, you know." Yeah. And I'm like, "Look at this! What the hell is this shit?" And he says, that's GC." And I said, "What the hell is GC?" And he said, "Oh, it's just this thing I came up with some guy I knew and stuff." And then so I said, "Well, you know I draw, right?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, let me fuck with this." And I turned on, I made him look the way I made him look. And then we just, we were messing around with it for a while, and the next thing you know, we say, "Hey, let's do a comic." And then so we're going through the usual bullshit, you mailing stuff out to people and stuff, and you're getting fucking clowned. And then there's one thing I can't find. It was I sent it to Marvel, and they sent me back envelope and stuff with Spider-Man on it and everything. I'm like, fuck, this is it. This is the hookup right here. And I opened the letter up, and just basically the guy was saying, we at Marvel get a lot of submissions, and most of the time we send them a form letter. But he said this is one time we had to take our feet off the desk and write you something. He said this was fucking hilarious. And I said, "Well, sorry, we can't use it. But thanks for sending it," and blah blah blah. I'm like, fuck. But then that's when we said, "Well, fuck, how much is it gonna cost to publish ourselves?" And I remember I went to what was it, some press printing company, and he printed the newspaper used to be called The Wave. Went down there, and guy gave me a price, and this, that, and the other, and we published issue #1. Because I'd already drawn a bunch of them, that's why it's so big. Yeah. They couldn't reduce it to to a normal size, and they said, "Well, let's just go with this big size," because I didn't want to redraw everything, and then that's how the big one.
Is that why it's called a magazine?
Yeah, they call it a magazine rather than a comic book. Yeah. And then after that, I did the I shrunk it down to a Mad magazine size, and I said I'd rather be a magazine size than a regular comic book and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just and everybody likes it like that, so that's just how it's been going.
So if you want to talk more about your collaboration process, so you did that first, go down, have a drink, bullshit about it.
Yeah.
So then how did you end up writing the story? So did you end up meeting GC yourself?
I never met the real guy, but Harold had been, seen him 1,000 times up when he used to party in Oakland and stuff, so he knew him, and he knew all the people he used to deal with. Gotcha. And basically it was just like a lot of crazy shit, and then we just sit around talking, and we just started coming up with the stories. And it was funny, if you notice the stories, a lot of them, they pretty much follow a formula, and it's funny, it's like, GC gets pissed off about something, and you have a big battle, and then it's over with, and you move on to the next thing, somebody talks shit, he has to, back up his play, and he's basically, he's ready to die at any time. It's like, fuck it, I'm not scared of shit and stuff. And then he's always, the same thing, him and his buddies always down with each other, they never fuck each other over. And it's just a formula we have and stuff, and it's just really, like you said, have GC at the car wash, GC at the hamburger shack, GC, and you can just GC shooting dice, and and he just take it wherever you want to take it and stuff.
Well, that's the mark of a strong character, right?
Yeah.
That's always what people, when you read in these books or you meet with development people.
Yeah.
They're always like, well, I want your character to be able to exist outside of this world or outside of jokes that you're being told, and you want to be able to put your character in any situation and know how he would react.
Yeah.
And that's like, once you have that, if somebody, like an audience member or something can, a reader of your comic can read 3 books of yours, and then they can go to some situation they're like, man, imagine if GC was here, what would he do? And they start extrapolating on it. That means you did it.
Yeah,
it's successful.
That's it. That's
created successful characters in there, and so you're like pen names, right? You were going under Raw Dog.
Yeah, I'm Raw Dog. The other was Mac. His name was Mac Elway when it was Mac, and
so just how did those names come about? Is there an interesting story?
Like I say, the R.D. Bone name, that was like the publisher's name, and it just sounds raw, R.D. Bone.
Yeah.
And then there's Raw Dog, just some Raw Dog motherfucker, like a Raw Dog pimp or something. It's just somebody who's just ruthless and shit and doesn't give a fuck. So I just go by Raw Dog. And
was there any specific story, or it just sounded cool?
Just sounded cool, yeah. When no Raw Dog situation went through and stuff. Just sounded cool. It just You know, it's just funny. It's just like I say, just real deal. It's just so many people can relate to it because it's just everything is about the struggle. Yeah. You know, it's just been so much fucking struggling, and then you're into real deal, and it's like I said, real deal keeps me going. Sometimes I've been through some hard shit in my life. You know, unemployed, you know, homeless, having to live with other people, and all this shit. And sometimes I see bums laying in the street, you know, fucking drunk and high, and sometimes you say, well, like, fuck it, I'll just do that. You know, like, just fuck, I give up. You know, fuck, I keep trying and I give up. Yeah. And then real deal is like fucking real deal fans, and real deal, it just keeps me going. Yeah. You know, I think of stuff I want to draw. I got thousands of ideas from real deal and other comic books and stuff. Just, you know, if I can just have the time and be able to sit down and do it, and that's what keeps me going. And so then that stops me from like just, you know, laying out in the gutter and just saying fuck it, you know, just fuck it. I give up. Fuck it, you know.
Oh, let me reset that camera a little bit.
Yeah, you want to?
It's time anyway, so.
Yeah. Oh, this is the time? All right, cool. That's good. Let me, actually, Julian, could you kind of scooch that one a little bit?
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you if it's, or you can probably see in even the thing. Yeah, keep it running.
You can always
this is raw too.
Yeah.
This is fun, right?
This is real. Yeah, the real deal is all about.
Yeah, if you just like scooch it this away. There you go. That's maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that's pretty good. Cool. All right. So now here's the time where we switch.
Okay.
So I'll take this. It's the cool part where you get to see what.
Oh, okay.
Shit the other guy was drawing.
And then we draw on
you draw on each other's drawings.
Cool. Okay.
So then we'll have this weird fucked up collaboration. Yeah, talking about, you know, the fans of Real Deal.
Yeah.
I definitely count myself as one of those fans.
I'm honored to have you.
I was first exposed to Real Deal like in the mid-90s at some point. When did you start? I think maybe 94, if I'm correct, is when I first got my first issue. When did you start?
The first one we came at, that big one, we came, I think it was either 89 or 90.
Gotcha.
And that was just, you know, like I said, we just been, you know, like I say, about 2 years before that, we were, you know, like doing the usual mail-out shit. And, you know, like I say, the Marvel response, everybody was just, you know, fucking nothing. And then we said, fuck it, let's do it ourselves. And at the time I was a production control analyst working in IT. Yeah. And I didn't like it, but it was like it's one of the things, I just fell into it and I made good money at it. Yeah. And so I was able to, you know, we were able to do the book, and, you know, the money it was easy to afford it then. Yeah. And, but yeah, and it's just, you know, always a thing, like, I'd love to have been able to put out more issues, but it was just, you know, you're working all the time and got other shit to, you know, take care of and stuff. And, but yeah, that was the first issue, was that the big jumbo one in 1990. Then, shit, number 2 was a year or so later. Then I don't, which issue did you see? 94?
I think I got 2 was the first one I got. Like, I didn't have 1 for a long time. I think I actually, and I'll get to that later, when I ran into you guys at Comic-Con. I think it was either 97 or 99, I'm not
99,
sure.
99, 99, and I think 2000 or 2001, yeah.
But, and you know, it had the revered place in my apartment, right next to the shitter. Yeah. So you sit down there, you read, because that's when you really look at stuff, you know, you really,
it's a real deal.
Really go over that stuff. And here's the thing, you talked about submitting this stuff to Marvel, right? Yeah. And they were like, this is hilarious. Yeah. There's no way we can make this.
Yeah.
And I really do think.
Sorry, we can't use it.
That you guys were, in a weird way, like way ahead of your time.
That's the way we felt, yeah.
Yeah, it's like now, whether people realize it or not, it's like, you know, the underground comics community is very small. Yeah. As you know, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm surprised, like, I thought for a while, it's like, oh, me and a couple of my like college roommates were the only guys that knew about Real Deal.
Oh, that's a trip, yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, we found this comic. It's awesome. We don't know what, like, you know, how broad the reach is for such a thing. Yeah. The more and more like underground comics guys I talk to, the more guys that know about it. Like, like J.J. Villard, who's, you know, sitting over there.
He's hardcore.
Did this thing before. Yeah. When he told me about you know, that we might have this job. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And I think I was only like CC'd on the email, and I just took over the thread.
Wow.
And I was like, we have to do this. I don't care if he's got a shitty budget, whatever. We have to fucking do this job.
For the sake of art.
Yeah, because I love that, and I couldn't believe that it was falling into my lap. It was so amazing. And I think, you know,
I have the email, man.
Do you have it? Yeah.
It said real deal exclamation at least 7.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Let's do it no matter what. Fucking like,
It's
$500 budget, fucking.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck it. And the thing I think, it's like, you know, it took the world a while to catch up. You look at Adult Swim shows, you look at a show, you know, like King Star King, or you look at a show like Super Jail, or you look at a show like Mr. Pickles that's on there now. Any of these shows that, you know, have a tone like this, and they're not even as hardcore as we're you know, maybe it's going to take a little bit longer to even get there. But I really feel like, you know, now your work is getting appreciated by a broader audience. You know, I think it got to the, you know, the underground comics guys. I think you've got a lot of potential to hit an audience that just wasn't ready for this shit when you were making it originally. Which brings me to, all right, so when did issue 6 come out?
Fuck. I think it's 2001.
All right, so 2001. And now it's 2015. Right? So now you're releasing an issue 7.
Number 7.
So what made you decide to dig back in? And
oh man, just fucking all those times, man. Hit fucking like, you know, my man Harold, you know, McElwee, he died, and fucking, you know, some family deaths and all that, and fucking money problems, and just couldn't do anything. Just fucking literally just trying to survive. You know, get some shitty job. You know, like I said, I was laughing. I was looking at my W-2, like, you know, I'm a security guard now. And I mean, fucking before I was, you know, in IT, but the kind of shit I did has been outsourced overseas now. And you know, I was looking, I was laughing. I said, back in the 90s, I was making 3 times more than I make now.
I think that's what everybody who was in the 90s. And
it's just funny, but like I said, that money is what I used to, you know, you do real deal with. That was the print money and shit. And now, you know, you're just fucking barely surviving and stuff. But they're just, literally, like I was saying, real deal keeps me going. It's just like, so tell you, if fucking be a drug addict, be an alcoholic, just be out in the streets, just say fuck it. Remember that fiend in Comic Con, the guy that's like, this is all you got? That. Talk about that. Oh yeah, there was this guy. I mean, it was a trip, Hispanic guy. He's a real cool guy. He had his head shaved, looked like a gangbanger. He's a hardcore Real Deal fan. So he had been, I think he'd bought Real Deals at the '99 Comic Con. Then it was at the 2001 Comic Con, so I just, you know, I'd had just one more issue. And so I'm sitting at the table, and he walks up, he looks, and he grabs a Real Deal and starts thumbing through it, and he starts looking over the table like, where are the other issues? I say, I just got the one. He said, just one issue in 2 years? What the fuck are where the other, and he starts looking like he's going crazy, where are the other issues? I said, that's all he got, and he's like, looking at me, I thought he was going to knock the table over and stuff. I'm like, fuck, one issue? You know, he bought like 6 of them and went away and stuff. It was funny.
That's funny. Well, it's good. It's better than nobody caring, right?
That made me feel good.
So how many years did you end up going to Comic Con? Because it was a lot different back then. You could get a table. You could have people actually
$600
walk by and look at your art. Now it's hard to get a table if you don't have, like, if you haven't continuously. There's almost like a lottery for that, or maybe even literally a lottery. I'm not
I've
sure.
only done the San Diego Comic Con '99 and 2001.
Gotcha.
Then I've done the you know, little shrine things there a few times, but I just, you know, fuck. It's just, you know, like I tell you, man, you're just struggling and shit. You know, you just fucking, just Real Deal keeps you going, but you're just struggling.
Well, when I ran into your table, I couldn't believe my luck. I think one of my friends was like, and that was even before we had cell phones or anything.
Back in the day.
Across me, and he was like, hey man, that Real Deal has a fucking table here. You're not going to believe it. So I went and saw you and HP over there, and I bought this shirt from you guys. So I have it. I said I showed it to JJ. It still has, it's got all these armpit stains. Wearing it on the thing, but this was the
Real Deal.
I bought from you in 1999.
Oh, man.
At some point, I want to get you to sign that shirt.
Oh, sure.
I don't know where to sign it.
Yeah, I don't
black shirt.
If I sign it on the this thing here.
You want a Sharpie or something? Or
Yeah, that'd be cool. Get a little more ink on there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got gold or silver.
Oh, he's got a gold. Yeah, use
Want
a
to
gold.
go? Okay,
Yeah, man.
cool. Bring it over.
That'll be awesome.
Fuck. Real deal.
But yeah, I
45
kept it, and
on
I
it.
was like, you know, there's those times when you're cleaning out your drawers and you're like, oh man, should I throw this out? And I always kept that one.
Yeah.
Now I'm so glad I kept it.
Hell
I thought
yeah.
it was gone. I told Gigi, I think I might still have this.
Here, that's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You might want to press down on it.
Okay.
But yeah, I was super stoked, and I think that's when I picked up issue 1, and whatever other ones I didn't have, because you know, it's hard to get them.
Oh, hell yeah,
I was in New York at the
Uh-huh.
time. I flew out from New York to go to Comic-Con. At that time, there wasn't a lot of Comic-Cons like there is now. Now,
Yeah.
the New York Comic-Con is like almost as big as the one in San Diego. It's nuts. But yeah,
I'll do this with both of them here. That is
nice.
Issue 7.
Yeah.
Motel.
You guys are part of it.
Yeah. So now you're revisiting Real Deal. Your
That
lifestyle.
looks well enough for you there.
Oh,
Using
nice.
these markers. Cool.
Great. Thank you,
Work.
man.
You got it.
Nice.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
Shit.
Dude, you could write on the actual thing if you want with the gold.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me try that. Yeah.
The so what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so now, you know, you're a little bit more removed
Yeah.
from the source material of, you know, those early things. Do you find, is it just as easy to put together an issue 7 a Real Deal as it used to be?
Yeah, you know, man, I got fucking just years of shit in my head, and
You've got
it's
a
just,
backlog.
Yeah, so many things because I got, like I say, I can do years of Real Deal, and I got another comic I want to do. It'd be called Floyd Jackson. It'd be about like a black detective back in the 30s and 40s, and it'd be kind of like a film noir kind of thing. I love those kind of love watching TCM.
Yeah.
And I just that and several other things in some of the other stories you see in Real Deal, Planet Dregs, and
Yeah,
just
I like
take this
those.
stuff on ever.
Yeah, so yeah, Real Deal in a way, you know, it had it wasn't just Real Deal.
Yeah.
It was also other stories. So,
Exactly.
yeah, that's cool.
Which was, you know, what we were planning on. You know, that's what I said. You know, that's what we always wanted.
So are you doing it entirely solo now, or do you have a new writing
I
partner?
got a guy named Will Clausen. He's been doing the met him at the Shrine, and he's a good guy. And he's been doing the Planet Dregs.
Gotcha.
And he did something. Remember those movies? Those Leprechaun movies are out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the comic for that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So so he's been doing that, and then other than that, I draw everything myself. But he's a good guy. Yeah, this guy named Jeff McNerlin back in the day. By issue number 3, I think he did some work in that for me and stuff. And but it's just raw. Like you see, working full time, and then you're trying to put out a comic book.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
Yeah.
But fuck, man, I got fans and fucking down in Australia, people in fucking Brazil, Germany, England, just Belgium is just amazing. And it makes you feel good, that you're reaching out to people, that far away, and they enjoy your work.
Yeah.
Okay, how's that look?
Oh, that looks fucking great. Thanks, man.
Like that, all
That's
right, all
awesome.
right.
I want to ask you, your subject matter is often really controversial, right?
Yeah.
It's like really raw,
Yeah.
as we talked about before. It's
Yeah.
urban terror.
That's it.
So do you ever end up with like people who are really PC, any haters who heckle you or do any crazy
A
shit?
good one was at the when we did when Johnny Ryan was hosting this show at the Center Family, and there was a bunch of different cartoonists, and it was like a a panel discussion on the stage and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm respecting what's his name, one of the guys at Love and Rockets, Jaime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was there, and it was this chick.
Hernandez, right?
Yeah, Jaime Hernandez. Yeah. there was this old chick, you know, from the hippie days and stuff, and she did some lame comic, you know, about hippies, flower power, all this shit and stuff. And you're like, okay, you know, you be polite and stuff. So then I'm up talking about Real Deal, and the bitch is like trying to heckle me from the audience. Yeah, all this PC, it's violence against women and all this shit. And it was so funny. The women, these young chicks in the audience told her, shut up. They said, shut up. It's just a comic book. Shut up, you know. And I was like, people like were booing her and stuff, and then she shut the fuck up. And it was like, oh, so I'm polite to your shit. You know, your shit's fucking lame. But I'm polite. I'm sitting here, clap, all this stuff. And you're going to diss my shit, you know. So anyway, it was funny. So then after, you know, everybody did all their talking and stuff, everybody was out in the, you know, they had like a little garden in the back of the theater, and everybody's selling their comics. And then she saw, you know, hardly anybody, it was just some old hippie shit, hardly anybody was buying that stuff. And then so a bunch of people came there, they heard I was going to be there, so they bought their Real Deals with them that they bought years ago for me to sign them.
Yeah.
And this guy said, man, I bought this 10 years ago, could you sign it? I'm like, fuck, man, no, oh, sure, of course I'll sign it. And I was tripping, and then after she saw all of that, and then she came up, oh, I'd like to apologize and stuff. I said, oh yeah, nobody buying your shit. You know, people lining up for Real Deal, but yeah, they go, okay, yeah, I said, yeah, get away from me. You know, you know, I was just saying, there's no respect. You know, you respecting other artists and stuff, and then somebody going, you know, clown my shit. And then, like I say, all the chicks, young chicks, you know, hipster chicks in their early 20s with their tats and stuff out in the audience saying, shut up, it's just a comic book, shut up. And I said, so my fans bear me out.
That's great to be defended by fans like that.
I didn't have to say anything. I was just feeling.
Yeah, you didn't even have to defend yourself.
No. And it was, and like I say, people out there, guys coming up, you know, all the Real Deals say, man, I bought these years ago. I heard you going, could you sign them? Like, of course, yeah, man, that's cool. But yeah, it was just funny. And I said, you know, you get people who know it, and who get it, and then people who don't get it. You know. Yeah. One time I was at a Comic-Con, I think the first one that we did, yeah, '99, and he's sitting up with Real Deal, and young brother comes up, oh, this is making fun of black people. I said, no, it's not. I said, I don't like it. I said, we don't like you. Walk away from the table. You don't like Real Deal? Real Deal doesn't like you. I said, we're going to keep on doing what we're doing. You know, nobody's sitting around worrying about what you like. Who cares, you know? Fuck away then, you know? So you made your point, leave, you know?
How did he react to that?
Just like his mouth was hanging open and stuff. I said, man, we're doing our thing, man. Fuck you, you know? I said, when I went to get this thing printed, did I come to you for money? You know, nobody knows who you are or what. Yeah, it was. And he hadn't, you know, he'd never really read the thing. If he'd read it, he would have known what was up and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got people nowadays. It's like if they feel like if they whine and complain, then everybody's supposed to just drop everything and, you know, do what they want and stuff. It's a trip.
So is that how you usually handle hecklers? You just, what is your reaction in general?
I see how everybody really go off on them. Like, look, nobody gives a fuck what your opinion is. Your opinion is irrelevant. You know, okay, you don't like it, fine, go away. Nobody's changing anything on kind of what you have to say. Go away, you know. Fucking fans like it, you know. That's all we care about.
So is there any comics these days that you're a fan of?
Man, you know, I've been so busy lately, I haven't really been able to get into anybody else's stuff. Really, I would like to. Yeah, I like some of the things Marvel's doing and stuff, but I mean, really, you know, if I had more time, I'd get into it, but really, I've just been struggling trying to get this issue.
You know, it's funny, whenever people ask me that question, it always fucks me up. I can never think of an answer.
Yeah. I mean, if I had more free time,
I'm asking you the same question.
Yeah, I say, if I had more free time, I'd be out in the shops, I'd be, you know, checking out other people's art and shit, but I mean, really, I don't have it right now.
Yeah.
I'd like to, but yeah, hopefully later on I'll be able to do that and shit, you know. It's a trip, like just trying to get this Real Deal #7 out, you know.
So, do you have any crazy stories about, like, I heard maybe you had a good story about when you had this Pontiac Grand Prix.
Oh, that one, yeah. I had one of my first good cars. I had this 75 Pontiac Grand Prix. It was powder blue, and I loved it. I used to party a lot back there. And I used to, a lot of times, I'd get drunk and fucking black out where, you know, like I'd be out somewhere one night, then the next thing I'd be home in bed the next morning.
Yeah.
So one day, I remember having my Grand Prix, and I think I was down in Torrance or Hawthorne or somewhere partying at somebody's house, And then I got so drunk. I remember when I was driving home, it was like I was flying through a black tunnel. Like I remember the car like I'm just sitting in the car and it's going like this, and I'm in this tunnel. So next morning I wake up at home, I'm like, fuck, how did I get here? So I go outside and I look at the car and it was all smashed up on one side. I'm like, fuck. So then I'm listening. So I said I'm listening on the radio. And they say, oh, somebody got killed in a hit and run with a blue Chevrolet Monte Carlo.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, well, shit, the Monte Carlo and the Grand Prix look almost the same.
Yeah.
So I went outside and I was looking at the car and the scrapes. I was looking for blood stains and shit and blood and all that. And I didn't see anything, so I said, well, fuck, it's cool. And I remember I never got loaded like that again.
Were
I said,
you shitting yourself when you thought?
Yeah, I thought I killed somebody. And it was just like, fuck.
Oh, man.
And I was just thinking, and I said, fuck it, the cops had pulled me over out of that fucking be in jail on a DUI, thousands of dollars. And so I was like, fuck, like I say now, I like to drink, but I never get tore up like that. Yeah, that shit. But that was some real deal shit, right? You say fuck it and do what you want to do.
It's crazy the stuff you'll do when you're young, and you look back and you're like, I can't believe I thought that was a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah. It was like, fuck, man, this shit is crazy and stuff. And I don't even feel like I said at that time. It was like just fuck it, like I didn't even think about it. You know, just fucking like as I was just flying through the air and stuff and everything. So it was a trip.
So do you have any sneak peek, like any little teasers you want to tell us about what's coming out in Real Deal 7?
Real Deal 7, let's see. Basically, we're just finishing up the Dim Bone story, and we meet some new characters. Bump Johnson, he's a ex-boxer, and he's he's a strong arm muscle for the guys and shit. You know, like if they throw a party or something, you need some muscle there. He likes to beat people to death and shit. And so that's Bump Johnson and
Wheelchair homie.
Yeah, what's that?
The wheelchair homie.
Yeah. Homie in the wheelchair, he gets gore danced and but Bump, you're gonna see a lot of Bump because he's an ex-boxer and stuff, so I can have a lot of fun with that.
Nice.
But I'm already planning Real Deal number 8 because hopefully this thing goes with Gaston cool and stuff. I can get a fucking show like I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
I really, man, that is really.
Well, we're a heavy advocate for that, man.
Hell yeah.
Work on that. You know, anything we could do on that.
Well, it was so cool with the whole thing where I had the development deal that fell apart, but at least I got a full script and I got like 10 synopsises for other scripts.
Yeah.
And homeboy Brian, he really did a good job. So
good.
really, it's like a show in a box. Like it's just ready to go.
That was that Brian Ash?
Brian Ash, yeah.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Yeah, we've worked with him on a couple projects. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really talented. I like him. He really, you sit up and work with him, and he's, he knows he's a Blaxploitation aficionado.
He gets it. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets it. That's what I say. That's what's really
down to it. He knew more than anybody. Anything. He was like an encyclopedia of that.
Yeah, that's what I was sitting there talking with him. He's naming this movie, that movie.
Yeah.
I said, young fella, you know all this shit. Man, you on the point with this shit and stuff.
It's true.
So yeah.
Hey, what's that publishing company on the 4th floor of your building?
Oh, Boom Comics, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They don't know anything about you.
No. I might let one of the guys know when we do our when we have our the thing at the launch party at Meltdown and stuff.
You're
but
like a diamond in a fucking.
I keep my mouth shut. When things really happen, I've had so many letdowns in my life. I'm kind of like, when something's really going to happen, I'll talk about it.
Sure, yeah.
But like
it's like the they talk about this in the comedy world, right? Because we deal with a lot of comedians for voice talent and stuff. Where it's something that's called like a comedian's comedian. It's like the broad public is not aware of these guys, but it's every comedian's favorite comedian. I feel like you're like the artist. Like all of us guys
are hardcore.
We were like, oh, holy shit, Real Deal, and it's like nobody.
It's just crazy, that dude walks by you every day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He gives me free comics and stuff.
And you're like, you must look at those comics.
Who's that? Ross Ritchie? He's the guy.
That's his name. The guy that runs the.
Yeah, he's kind of a big dude.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. Because it's funny, we'll be talking and he'll hear me talk. He's like, how do you know that? How do you know that? I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. talking about Comic Cons and shit and stuff. Yeah, it's a trip, but
Yeah.
I let them know later and stuff. But man,
you were like, Real Deal had a table at Comic Con long before Boom.
that's right. Never heard of Boom before that. But yeah, you got to see. We have a tarp, a Real Deal. I didn't do this one. It was this guy who's a what do you call this artist? A graffiti artist.
Yeah.
And he did this big tarp for us. Well, it's like a backdrop on canvas, and then we'll have that at the next convention.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that came out cool.
I always ask somebody, I think it's about time.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting close to the wrap it up phase. I'm
Okay.
thinking, you know. I ask people if they want to plug anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing you want to plug Real
Deal number 7.
Yeah.
More rage, more page, more slaughter for your dollar. Real Deal! That's
So
it.
where can people get it?
You're going to get it at Gaston's in Meltown. You can get it. Say what?
It's gonna be in my booth.
You'll be at his booth, and you can always go to www.realdealcomics.com, and it'll be there.
RealDealComics.com.
That's it.
Well,
Dude,
man,
you'll be at Comic Con this year.
you're going to Comic Con this year?
I'm going to try. I got any fucking job, man. I'll see if I can get off, yeah. I'd love to go down there.
Cool. So, man, thanks for doodling with me tonight.
Oh, you're most welcome, man.
What we do now is we each sign each one. I'll sign this, and
Okay.
you come over and sign it. We'll do the same,
Okay.
and we'll be in great shape. But yeah, thanks so much for this, man.
Hey, man, I'm happy
Huge
to
fan.
do it.
Huge fan. Nice.
Chirp.